Well, what's up, everyone? Welcome back. I'm David with ClearEdge on the support team and one of the creators of Kairos trading strategies. So today we're going to dive into a bunch of different stuff. We wanted to talk about approaches to the market, and I know some guys have asked for another overview of optimizing the strategies. So we'll break down also the current market conditions, what we're seeing for automated trading strategies, our different strategies that we've been using and employing on the market. Talk through adjusting these settings, experimenting with different stuff, sizing considerations, and all types of different stuff. So if you're running Kairos, Market Ninja, or anything else on the ClearEdge marketplace, this stream is the exact place for you, so you can learn all about these different strategies. So make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if you don't, if you haven't already, so you don't miss anything in the future. So jumping in, Kevin, how was your week? I know you're pretty busy at work, but you were running. Are you just running Market Ranger or Market Ranger? Or sorry, is that the right name? Market Ranger.
Well, so that's the new one. Yeah, and the Ninja is the original.
Yeah.
Yeah. So no, I was running Ninja, GC, and MNQ. Both had pretty flat weeks, so maybe slightly down. Maybe a trade or two. I'll have to go look. I haven't reviewed my trades honestly yet this week. Been busy, so just as long as I don't see any errors on my ClearEdge screen in the morning, I've just been letting them go. And I know that the risk is good on them, and they're going to do what they're going to do. So yeah, that was my approach. But I did monitor the Ranger because that one is new. And that one had a pretty good week on both MNQ and MES. So yeah, that was good. How about you?
Yeah, it was a pretty good week. My stuff started to really take off. Last week I was getting some feelings. I was like, man, this is something's gonna start picking up, and sure enough, it did. And luckily, I was sized pretty well this week, so I was pretty comfortably green. And I even took one of the strategies that I was implementing this week and threw it on my cash account and had a pretty good day. It was $600 day in that day trading 2 MNQ, and then across all my other accounts, they were all pretty much up. There was a few that I was. Let me share my screen really quick. A few red ones. I have my static evals with Trader's Desk, and I have this YM strategy that I've been running, and
Okay.
it had like a great week, like the first week, and then I shared it with somebody. I shared it with two people. I shared it with Brad, and I shared it with Smooth Trades Lee, and of course when they start running it, it just goes to crap. So it's their fault that it's not working anymore, because
it always works like that. Yeah, I swear.
It was doing great. So, but yeah, anyways, I think I've already blown one static with it, and now I'm on my second one, and I'm down $1,000 after this week. So yeah, time to probably move on with it. It's already gone past the statistics pretty well against the statistics. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to let that one continue playing out. It probably could turn around. I don't know if I'm wanting to sit through it though. Another one was Kairos Logic, which is just another variation of Kairos bands, basically. Yeah, it's your fault. Yeah, you ran it. I forgot I gave it to you. Hi, I'm a new user. Great job from you guys. Yeah, thanks, man.
Well, thank you.
I'm using Ninja strategy. It appears to be breakout strategy. And sometimes when the breakout fails, it reverses. But today it entered long, stops was hit quickly, but didn't reverse. Yeah, I mean, on a lot of these strategies, there's different confluences that go into them. So if a reversal doesn't happen one time, it doesn't mean that's not working right. And I'm sure Kevin can answer this better, but there's just sometimes the conditions are not met on the strategy for a reversal, so it didn't take it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. I mean, it looks like I'm looking at that trade right now. That was just a super quick stop, so it had that break, and then yeah, just a super quick stop. So the reversals, I guess it kind of did that last night as well. Um, but it actually did reverse that time. But yeah, if the conditions aren't met, they're just not met. It's hard to say exactly when it's going to happen. That's just something you kind of program and you find settings for, and it just works when it works, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. But it's a fine line, right? Like you can have the reverse set to fine, right? And then you're reversing every time that there's a small candle that goes against you, right? So it's kind of a balancing act with those features. So yeah, but yeah, that would have been a nice reversal, though. I wish we did get that, but unfortunately, we just didn't in that one. So
Yeah, but yeah, kind of going through some more of my stuff. I mean, my top step accounts are still all paused. I'm probably the last person on earth.
oh yeah, I
That
was actually wondering about that. If they had a resolution for you yet.
no, it's probably I don't know his real name, but John A from the Discord. Um, I'm sure his name is actually John. I don't know his last name. Him and I have both been just contacting support, giving them a hard time, and they keep saying like, "Oh, 1 to 2 business days, 1 to 2 business days," and we'd be like, "Okay," so then like 1 to 2 business days, we wait, and then we'd contact them again, and then now they've come to start saying. My last message from them was, "All right, I need to escalate this. It's going to take 5 to 7 business days." I was like, "Okay,
Oh
all
no.
right, well, whatever, man. I give up."
I think
So
Nara wrote him like a nice letter. You should probably just copy and paste that and then just send it to him yourself. Yeah,
yeah.
it sounded like he got a resolution quick, but
Yeah, did he actually get a resolution? So, like, did he
I,
actually get his
I
accounts?
think I think so. I could be wrong too, but I want to say that I remember him getting a resolution. So I
Huh.
don't know. Maybe you can ask him about it. And
I thought they just sent him the strongly worded email about stop charging back your card.
oh, did yeah? I know he did that too. So I don't know. I guess yeah. I thought he did, but
Yeah.
yeah, you
You
can check
know,
in with him.
I wish it wasn't the case, but the complainers often get more than the guys that just sit back and are like chill. So,
Yeah.
it's a complaining system.
It's
The
that whole
complainers,
squeaky wheel gets the grease.
yeah.
Is normally
Yeah.
how it goes.
Yeah, so I don't know. I'm more of the mindset, man. I don't want it to affect my mindset, so I just move on. And when the resolution happens, it happens. If I come out on top, great. If not, I mean, this is prop trading for you. I mean, you can't really rely on these companies. I think I've quoted this from Nara multiple times, but it's a slimy business. There's a reason why Clear Edge Automation guys didn't get into the prop business, and they probably just as well could have started a prop firm and been successful. It's just grimy. Um, yeah, which strategies are you guys most excited about at this time? Um, yeah, I guess I'll talk about that while I'm going through my stuff. So I love Ninja or Market Ninja. Sorry, not Ninja Trader. I have it running on a funded account and a static eval on my Blue Sky account. So I just let that run. I have it on small size. I don't even really. I mean, I say I don't pay attention to it, but of course I pay attention to it. But it's not a fast mover. And because Top Step took away my 2 150Ks and my 50K, I'm down to only 2 funded accounts across the 4 firms that I run stuff on. So I am being a little bit more conservative with those. Um, and so I've always like Market Ninja. I mean, just watching it's fun. It's literally like a ninja with the reversals. So that one's good. Kairos, I'm not Brad. You know, I gotta actually message him while I'm on here because I think he's jumping on tonight too. Because he'll be able to give you a real rundown of everything on bands that is doing well and looking good. He keeps a spreadsheet, and because I'm constantly testing new stuff, so most of my accounts are filled up with test things. So I'm adding different things to the strategies. So like I have like a Kairos bands MNQ strategy that I threw a trailing stop on that is doing insanely well, but 7 grand this month, 7.5 grand this month. Um, and then a bunch of different stuff. The one I'm really liking is key levels, which I think Kevin is also working on something with key levels. So it's something that, I mean, just logically it makes sense, especially with where we're at in the market. If you look at the chart on NQ, actually I didn't do any higher time frame analysis this morning, so let me pull up the day time frame on ES. Maximize this ES, and they don't have TPO profiles on Top Step X, do they?
I'm not sure. I was never a TPO trader, but it always interested me. So maybe I'll have to learn a thing or two about that from you in the future.
Yeah, or I think they have volume profile stuff too. So
I traded footprint charts for a while.
Yeah, let me see if they have a volume profile. But yeah, so yeah, fixed volume profile. Where's the beginning of this month? January. I mean, this is just gross where we're at right now. I don't know if there's
smack dab in the middle of that beautiful consolidation.
We're literally at the point of control for the month. So I mean, we haven't gone anywhere. We're not really doing anything. So key levels is perfect. It's like the levels I'm looking at are like the 4-hour open, the Monday open, the monthly open, the yearly open, and trading those levels. So I made an algo that trades those levels, and it's did fantastic today. Like I said, I was up 600 in my cash account, $3,000 in this 150K, and I was up. I forget how much in the other one. One I was trading a mini in, and one I was trading five contracts in. So I went over the threshold of my 50% consistency on the one. But yeah, so that's what I'm excited about and running is the level stuff. And I'm sure Kevin, once he gets to working on it, you'll have a couple different options. Oh, am I missing some chat? Let's see. Silent J.
Yes. So my levels, David, I mean, so that's, I was telling you when we were kind of talking about the level stuff. I used to trade options, and that's how I became profitable. When I first became profitable was actually level trading, right? So you're near your previous day high and lows, 4-hour highs and lows, weekly opens, daily opens. I mean, kind of like, the levels that all the pretty good traders pay attention to, and kind of have strategies around. So mine will be somewhat similar. I'm looking for different things, but that's still under development. That's probably a little ways out still. All the logic is written, so everything displays correctly and whatnot. But I need to just put like sequence of events, so to speak, and actually get some trade logic in there now. I've actually had that one in development since I just looked the other day when I started. It was like December, so I've just had a lot going on with some other stuff, and I guess I started the Ranger and it at the same time, and just kind of took to the Ranger for whatever reason and finished that one out first. But yeah, I mean, I'm loving the results, seeing your levels. I mean, yeah, like I said, some of the best traders that I know, that's all they kind of use and what they trade off of every day is just the levels, right? So it makes sense. I'm looking forward to seeing how that one progresses.
Yeah, and Silent J, we're today's gonna be a lot about approach to the market, so we're gonna discuss a lot of that when we kind of get into it.
Optimal sizing and stuff. I've got
we can actually
share too.
Oh yeah, your chart that you have.
Well, I don't think I've ever showed. I don't know if I've ever showed you this tool, David. I built like a calculator, and I can share it with whoever would want one. Nara's building a very similar one, I guess, for the ClearEdge website. So I haven't shared this with anybody in the group, but I guess in the time being until they get theirs out. I think his is going to be a little bit more in depth, but I'll show you guys as we get more into the conversation. What I use is just a basic Excel calculator that I made, and it makes sizing pretty effortless, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah. So I guess just to give an overview of what we're going to be talking about, I've kind of boiled it down into two main approaches that I kind of see as potential ways of being successful in the automating world. I do one of them, and actually Kevin employs the other one a little bit more, and so does Brad than me, and so does Nara. Actually, I'm probably the only person I know that really does it the way I do it. But the way that I would kind of nail it down to is you can have lots of accounts, and I know I think Wild Texan, I think he has like tons of accounts or something like that, and some other guys have a lot of accounts where it's like you're spreading out your risk and then you're sizing down, and then you're getting those small wins every day, and that adds up over 20 accounts. That's not really the approach I've taken towards automation. That's not where I found my success in automation. I never took that approach. And actually the last 4 months that I've been doing the small size, it's not been doing great for me. So then my approach would be you build up at least 5 accounts, funded accounts, and you try to always maintain at least 5, and then you start sizing up in one, and then you can, once you hit like the area that you need to be at for your payout, then you can jump to the next one. Or if you blow that one, then you can jump to the next one, and then you have evals in the background that are running, and then you're passing those. So I'm looking at all my 5 accounts as my drawdown, as one big drawdown, to where I'm going to be sizing according to the drawdown in all 5 accounts, not sizing in as if it's one account, which allows me, I would be trading like a mini instead of a micro. So, and the reason why I like my approach, and I'll let Kevin kind of explain why he does it his way. I don't know if yours is exactly the way I explained the other one, but the reason why I do it is because these 3-month back tests, and even if you have a 6-month back test, I'm looking for something that's good, that in my time frame, in my thought process, I can see a strategy that is looking good for 3 months, like continuing on for like a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Well, some of my biggest payouts have been from within like a week or two period. So being sized accordingly, like I can take advantage of a really good run on a good back test for a couple weeks, and that can have a payouts that's going to support me for the whole rest of the month. I'll have all my stuff covered, and that's the way I like to do it. Now, the ideal, actually, now that I think about it, would actually be to have both going on. You have on one side, you have 20 accounts that are just going slow, and then you have a few accounts that you can be like really sized heavy and do that. So maybe that's a future goal to have both things going at once. But yeah, so what's the advantages of your approach that you're taking to the market? What do you see as the edge in what you do, and how you game the prop system?
For me, so really, I'm just slow and steady for the most part, but I kind of employ what you had just said, David. As soon as I got to a point with enough funded accounts, I do have like a normal risk and then a high risk, right? So it's not all of them aren't run the same, but they're all based off of a plan. And then I reassess the plan every week based on drawdown of the account, right? So like I'll run everything for a week, but I do like what you were saying, that like, I guess I'd never really thought about it that way. If something is hot, hopefully, you're leaning on that being hot for like another couple of weeks, and like maybe size into that one a little bit more, just so you can take advantage of the streak, right? Like would I be, yeah, I mean, just thinking about, my GC, Ninja, and MNQ. Like MNQ's been holding its own. It's been good. I think it had a flat week, but like, a couple weeks ago when that thing was hot, or when GC was hot, I mean, gosh, doing that, you could have made your whole year in like a month. I mean, I think when GC, a couple weeks when gold was hot, it made like 20K or something in a week with one GC. So, I mean, imagine running that, and you could easily, with the drawdown that it produced, ran that on 150K. So, I mean, gosh, you have a couple 150Ks running that. Like I said, you can cover a lot of your year just in, when the strategy's hot. So that's actually an awesome way to look at it. I'm going to think more about that. And that's why it's so good to have discussions with other traders, because, there's no one that has a perfect system, but it's cool to learn, what other people are doing and kind of try and fit that into what you already do, or maybe give it a try, take a different approach. So I actually like that thought process that you've got going on. But I'll kind of show you, I'll bring up, I'll share my screen here.
Yeah. And I will say it's the same math. Like I'm still like, so you have 5Ks and you're counting all your drawdown, or you have your 5 funded accounts and you're counting all your drawdown together. It's the same math for like how much drawdown you have. Like if you had 10K of drawdown, you'd be like, okay, well, I can size a little bit different. I don't have to size 1 micro because I have 2K of drawdown. I can size a little bit heavier. So I mean, it's the same thought process, same idea of like calculating your risk when you do that. And then just trying to find the statistical edge however you can.
Yeah, exactly. It's gosh, the screen is really brighten me up. But this is kind of how I do it, right? So I've created this calculator, and up here on the left in the yellow is my eval, right? And then my regular risk for my eval. So any boxes that are pink is basically where you have to put values in. But anyway, so I have a 10 and 20% for my regular risk and high risk for my evals, and then my funded's over on this side. So what I'll do is I'll just grab this information from TradingView from the reports to fill these couple boxes in. It takes like a minute or two. And then it'll actually just tell me what I can run based on what I've plugged in here for my regular risk and high risk, right? And then it'll give me, based on what the strategy has been doing, it'll give me the 30-day estimated profit on my regular risk and then my high risk. And then let's just say I chose to run, let's just do this one because it's already done. 1 contract, right, on whatever this strategy is producing. Well, my risk per trade, when this information was true, was $84. My estimated profit, so on and so forth. So you can kind of just use this calculator, and this is kind of how I set up all my individual accounts. Is I'll go here, type the information in, and then basically just go, look on this this Excel sheet, how many contracts I want to run based on what the strategy has been doing, what the market environment is, so on and so forth. And then, like I said, this is the eval section. And then I also have just one for my funded one. And then this one, based on how many contracts you put in, like if I said 5 here, it'll actually give me on a 50K account, if I run regular risk, this would have been like 3 days to pass, right? Obviously that was super high risk, so wouldn't have ran that. But I'm just saying, like, even figuring where I was, that would have been about 18 days to pass. So like I said, it's a very simple, like, you take a couple minutes, plug the information on. It's a very simple way to kind of just like give you a general idea of like how you might want to run an account. But that's how I do it. And then, like I said, and then what I do is I have a list of my accounts, how much I reassess it every Sunday when I make my weekly plan. And then I plug in all my drawdowns. So like, let's just say I'm running a 100K account, right? But it's been taking some drawdown, right? And I've only got 2K worth of drawdown in that 100K account. I'm going to adjust my size in that 100K account starting for the week and run it like a 50K. So hopefully it can have a good week and it'll build its buffer back up, and then I can save that account, right? And that's just kind of how, and that's based off all this math right here. And that's just kind of how I've been doing it, and it's been working. But like I said, that's just my system, and everybody has their own way of doing things. But this, to me, just makes more sense when I can, see numbers, and it's just like, okay, I'll pick this one because it makes sense to me, right?
Yeah. Yeah, Silent J, Kevin, he plans on doing $500 per week, so to have access to the Excel sheet.
Yeah, that's the real secret to all this. It's in the Excel sheet. No, I mean, I can, if you DM me, I'll send you, a blank copy of the calculator. Then you can, you can kind of plug in your own numbers and use it. Like I said, I didn't do anything with it because Clear just building one other website that's going to be a little bit more involved. So theirs will actually, what Nara was saying, will let you take multiple strategies and kind of like plug them in and everything. In case you're running multiple strategies in like one account, it'll account for like the drawdown and things like that. So it's going to be a little bit different approach, which I think is awesome. For me to do that in Excel, I could do it, but I'm just not going to go that far with it. So, but theirs is going to be awesome. And he said it's going to be out soon. So yeah, look out for that. But in the meantime, if you guys want this one, I'd be happy to share it. So,
yeah. So, kind of going along with the approaches, I know we had kind of discussed before about, this is one thing that Kevin and I definitely agree on, and we had a little discussion beforehand about it, and this is something I hear a lot of guys talk about and do, and I see it in the chat sometimes, and this is something to me that I have not been convinced, and I have not found somebody that can convince me how the math works out on this. Taking a strategy that has a good back test and then setting daily profit targets when you don't have to. So like there's few exceptions. I mean, Trader's Desk, you have to have a daily base hit. So I get you're cut off at that time anyways. Honestly, it wouldn't even be the end of the world if you just let it run anyways, because then you just get more drawdown. Like, so your target's further out, but you get the extra drawdown. So it's like it's even further away to blow the account. So it's actually not even a bad thing if you go over your daily base hit. But also, why not size smaller? Why would you be sizing and then have a daily profit target? Size so that you see the trades. Okay, so this takes an average of 5 trades per day. So I'm going to size according to, say, hitting that in 4 or 5 trades. So on the best day, it's going to hit the profit target, but it's not on the other days. And to me, that just makes more sense because you're going to play out your statistics over the long run than cutting yourself off on a day. And I just do not see how the math plays out. Like, I don't see how the math works. And especially if you take a strategy that has, say, a 50-point stop and say you're going to take $200 a day or a 50-point target in NQ, and you're sized at 5 NQ or 5 MNQ. And so halfway to target, you hit that $200 or even less than that. And it's like, that stuff just does not make sense to me. How about DLL on a funded account? Again, I only do it if I'm forced to. Like if I'm forced to put in a daily loss limit, like I know some prop firms still have daily loss limits. I know Top Step took it off. But yeah, no, I don't want to put a daily loss limit. I would rather blow the account. I just don't have attachments to my accounts, I guess, as much. Take that back a little bit. I had attachments to keeping 5 accounts at all times. So when I get cut 3, all of a sudden, I feel a little bit more attached to my 2 accounts that I have than I previously have to my accounts. But definitely not evals. I feel nothing when I blow an eval. Like I care nothing. It's whatever. So I'm sized how I want to size in the eval, and it's either going to blow or it's not. I'm not putting a daily loss limit for myself unless like Futures Desk, like they forced me to have a daily loss limit. Mainly because of so many times I've seen a strategy. Like probably 2 months ago, I think Secret Lab, we were testing stuff out with NQ, and Nara starts running NQ every day on his account for NQ. And I remember one day it was like down like 5-6 grand, and like it just came back from that. Now, granted, 6 grand is going to blow any prop account. So, but if you had the strategy of, hey, I'm budgeting for 3 evals. So when I blow this one, you just restart the next one. That next one would be in profit and you'd be great. You wouldn't even be in drawdown. You'd actually benefit from it by trading the second half of the day. So I don't know. I just don't. I even chatted with AI because I was like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe maybe the math makes sense somehow, and I'm just not understanding it. And no, even AI, I did Gemini, and then I went to ChatGPT, and then I did Grok, and I asked the same question, not leading questions. So I wasn't saying like, why does this not work? Like I was asking it like genuinely, like, hey, mathematically, what makes more sense? If I have a 3-month back test that has X and X, Y, and Z statistics on it, would it be smart for me to put a daily profit target in and to have it hit that every day because it does well. So it's like 70% win rate. So I'll likely hit my daily profit target every day. And what happens is that does not account for the drawdown periods. So you've cut off all your winners, and sure, you could put in a daily loss target too, but then you're not even playing the strategy like at all. Then it's like, to me, that's just, we're not manual traders. We're not picking our setups. We're not grading our setups. Each setup is calculated through the confluences and through the code that we have put in. The reason why we have that is because our brains can't, like, I don't know if you've seen the confluence lists on Kairos, but there's like 10, 20 like different things that you would have to pay attention to as a manual trader to know when all those things lined up to take the trade. Like we're not doing that. We can't do that. So we're trusting the back tests that it's going to continue on in a somewhat similar fashion, whether or not it's as good as the back test or not. It typically isn't as good. But sometimes it's better. So, but either way, you got to let that edge play out. You can't cut off your winners. You can't cut off your losers. There's just, to me, it just, the math, well, not just to me, the math just doesn't work out. The math does not math at all. So that's something to consider for guys who do that. I do think it tends to fall on attachments to accounts, a little bit more emotional attachment towards like, hey, I only have $100 to budget for combines or evals this month. So I get where it's like, I don't want to blow that. So I'm going to put in a daily loss limit or something that cuts me off at a certain amount. Where I think those things are really helpful is for new traders that are trading manually. Putting in a daily loss limit or something like that. That helped me out in the beginning when I was first trading because it kept me from over trading. But with automated trading, you can count the amount of trades that you're going to have during the day by looking in the past. You're like, on average, this takes 10 trades per day. Well, let it take 10 trades per day. If they're all losers, they're all losers. I mean, that's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes. So yeah. Any thoughts on that?
Yeah. So I think I don't personally use the daily loss limit. I know Nara and he's expressed that, he recommends them. I guess the only reason or the only fail safe that I would see to use one in automation would be if you have a technical error and you're not watching your screen, right? For whatever reason, it misses an exit. And then you're in a funded account and it just goes in the opposite direction.
Safety net. Okay. So like you're talking about like 2 times or like 1.5 times what your normal loss would be. So
yeah. So if you have a fund, so that might be
I get that
different. Yep.
That makes sense. If I'm in my 150K, yeah.
Yeah, so I think on my 150K funded, I'd have to check what I have it at, but it might be a couple grand or something. Like basically, it'll be like 50% of whatever I have left in the account. So like, if it does happen, then like I've got to work myself out of a hole, but I don't lose the whole thing. But I don't run that like super tight at all. I mean, it's not like at $500 or something. Like I said, it's at a couple grand, and it's just basically saying like, okay, if a technical issue happens, then I won't lose it. But I don't do them in evals. I just, if it happens in eval, it's going to happen. But yeah,
totally. I look at that as a different category. Though.
Yeah, exactly.
That's like a risk. That's not.
It's like an insurance almost. It's not really like a.
It's the questions that you're asking when you're going to it. Like one question is, I don't want to lose X amount of dollars in a day. So I'm going to set a daily loss limit for $200, $500, whatever it is. The other question is like, can something go wrong with my automation? Yes, something can go wrong with my automation. So how can I protect myself if that happens? And those are just 2 different questions. One to me is coming more from an emotional side of trading. The other one is actually coming from a more risk management side of trading. So I totally get that.
Yeah. And I agree with that. I don't set it for, I like to let the statistics and the math play out in the accounts. Like I said earlier, I haven't even really looked at my accounts this week. The Ranger I've been paying attention to, but my Ninja GC, I couldn't even tell you what the MNQ and GC are at until I go and look at them probably after this or maybe tomorrow. But yeah, didn't interfere manually. Perfect. Good job, Mark. Awesome. Yeah. Like, honestly, as you do it more and as you become more, unfortunately, numb to to losing, it just gets better, right? And then you really just start to build that callus, and then you'll be able to take advantage of the market cycles when these things really start to hit. And you don't micromanage. Plus, it's just hopefully better for your heart rate, maybe.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it's better for your overall health that you're not worried all the time, because that does have an effect.
Yeah. Mark, you've been doing awesome, man. It's been amazing.
Yeah, you really have. That's an awesome job. And I thought of another analogy, kind of like how, someone that's new could kind of look at this too. Almost like, I don't know if anybody does any long-term investing. Generally people that day trade do. But I almost look at this as like, all right, I'm going to take this $100 for this prop firm account, or, $200. And this is going to be like a risky investment almost in a way, right? Like buying a prop firm account and then putting a strategy on it that says it has this return. Like, I'm going to take this $200 and that's like going to just be an investment of this $200, right? And if it hits, it's going to pay itself in waves, right? And like, just kind of approach it like with that mindset, like, the money's already spent and gone, so I don't need to worry if I lose the $100 or $200 this time. And then, next time you make your plan, it's like almost just look at it as an investment, not as a trader. Like, if you look at it as a trader and you carry the emotions from manual trading into the automation, which is very easy to do, it's just gonna take you down the wrong path. So if you kind of look at it as like, I've already lost this $100, I don't care about it, and kind of take that approach and not want to micromanage every loss. That's maybe another way that newer people could view this stuff as. Again, I'm just trying to come up with different analogies as I drive throughout my day, or as I have some time to think about stuff like this, just to kind of I don't know, just help people's mindset, because it's very important to kind of go with the right approach from the beginning, as we always talk about.
Yeah, and I hope I'm not coming across too harsh for, like, especially new guys coming in, or people that have been doing daily loss limits and profit targets for a long time and have had success with it, because you can have success with it. I'm not saying you can't. So, I mean, and I would be happy if Nara messaged me and be like, XYZ, this is why the math works out. Great. I'll admit defeat and I'll be over. I'm good at losing. You have to be good at losing as a trader. So that's totally fine. I just, from what I've researched and what I've looked at and the numbers I've crunched, the math does not work out. So take with that as you will. Maybe go ask a leading question to AI. Be like, why does this work? Maybe you'll get a good answer. I know AI is forced to, whenever you ask it a leading question, to give you why something does work. So
it's always
but yeah, so yeah, for the most part, those are the two main approaches I see. And I would like to get other people, if you have a good idea for an approach that you've had success with, or that you've seen others have success with, being able to come on here and discuss what approach you take, because we all have different approaches slightly different approaches that we employ towards the markets. Nara's not going to be the same as me. Kevin's not going to be the same as me. Brad and I, we knew going into working together that we're not the same. We don't have the same approaches towards a lot of these things. So yeah, it would be good to see a diversity of thought on that. So Mark, I still battle with the daily feelings of Green Day thinking I have this sussed, and a red day thinking I am wasting my time. You guys have been awesome and helped much. Thanks, Mark.
Well, thanks, Mark.
Yeah, that's one of the hardest things, and it's still not completely gone for me. It's not there as much, for sure. And again, I think I mentioned this in an earlier stream. Like, the more accounts you have automating, when you have 20 accounts that are all automating at the same time, one of them does not matter very much. It's like, oh, okay, whatever's happening in that account, okay, it's red, oh, it's green. And that's just something that might take time to get a bunch of accounts to be able to automate at the same time.
Yeah,
Um,
and it's a little bit different, if you have a limited amount of accounts. I would agree with you there, David. It's like, well, it's easy for us because we, do have a few to pick from, right? But yeah, people that are just starting out, I get it, it's tough. And some days, you're like, oh man, why do I do this? And then, you get your green days, and you're like, okay, I remember why I do this. So but again, that's kind of like the investing analogy I was just trying to make. It's like if you think long term from the beginning with this stuff, and like you're gonna have your green and your red days, and you're gonna lose some accounts along the way, and it's gonna be up and down, you'll just set yourself up better for success mentally. And again, we talked about this last week, but look at, this is a daily time frame of QQQ. I could go to NQ since we all trade that a little bit more. But I mean, look at what we just did this week here. I mean, we basically stayed inside a tiny little box all week and just went up and down. Like, the consolidation for has just been nuts. So I mean, it's been a tough market. So
yeah.
So have some grace for sure too.
Yeah. It's but I mean, that's why Kevin and I work on the back end to get new stuff developed to fit market conditions. If whatever we're using isn't fitting, then we'll get new stuff out there. So we got about 20 minutes left in the stream. I know some guys had wanted to go over the optimizer again. Did you have any final thoughts on approaches towards the market?
No, I think, Mark, you're doing an awesome job, and whoever else listening, sounds like you guys are growing too. So yeah, just keep it up, guys. David and I are working on a bunch of new stuff. I think a couple other people might be submit some new strategies too. So yeah, we'll get through it, and just make sure you guys are, sticking to your plan every week. It's really what David and I, and whatever that might be, right? If you like using daily profit targets or daily loss limits or whatever is working for you, just making sure that you're sticking to that is really the most important thing. But yeah, good thoughts on all this stuff, David. I'm pretty good.
All right. Well, we'll go into the optimizer then, to give another just overview. Maybe hopefully a little more clarifying than the first stream that we did, where we talked about it a little bit. So first thing that you're going to do, I'm going to recommend the free one. There's another one out there, like I forget what it's called, set and forget it. Yeah, so this one's called TradingView Assistant. So I am pretty sure my Google Chrome runs really slow, but if you just type in TradingView Assistant Chrome extension, it'll pop up right there. You can go ahead and go download it from the Chrome store. Oh, and if it wasn't obvious, you would need Chrome browser to do
Chrome
this.
browser, yeah.
I've looked into like some try to find one for Firefox and other ones, but I don't know. I never got them to work. So yeah, you can add it, and it will pop up here in your little extensions tab, the little puzzle piece. So now I'm going to show you specifically how to do it to the Kairos stuff, mainly because you can try to employ this approach to, well, let me kind of back up. Multiple ways to optimize. One way is a very targeted way where you're going to go into a few settings and you're going to try to make something that's already good better. That's one way to approach it. This is what I'm going to show you today is more of a blanket approach. You actually I like to start with the back test looking like crap, or with mine, I can actually start it with 0 trades. So let me pop in here, and this is a little sneak peek at Kairos key levels. So in Kairos key levels, you're going to have all your levels that you can choose from. So what I do first is I'm going to unselect all of the levels. So I'm going to unselect the session times, levels. These session times are actually not like, are you going to trade during these session times? It's actually trading the range of those. So it's the time is where the range is, not where, not when you trade. So you can trade different time periods. You can set your own time periods. If you see a pattern in the market. So yeah, I unselect all those. I'll go down the list. I'll set my take profit in a reasonable amount wherever I want it to start. And then I'll go down to my confluences. I'll unselect all my confluences, so nothing's selected. I'll look at these for what has worked for me in the past. I kind of have an idea of the ranges that I want for this. So that might take some time for y'all to figure out whatever you're using, if it's Market Ninja or if it's something else, Secret Lab, and kind of get familiar with the settings. Like go in, maybe do some research on what all these are. So like Bollinger Bands, stochastics, RSI, like what are these things and what are the typical ranges? And then what are you trying to do with the strategies? Because like a lot of my stuff, you can reverse it. So that means you're going to need different inputs for these confluences if you reverse a strategy. And then I'll unselect all the filters. So I have my trend filter here where you can choose EMA, SMA, HMA, VWAP. So I'm unselecting that. I unselect the VIX filter, unselect the ATR filter, unselect the volume filter, and then I'll leave the no trade zone on. So once I kind of have my settings set, this is what it's going to start with. So when I start the optimizer, it's going to set with whatever I have on there. Start there. So then I'm going to go up to the corner and I'm going to open up my TradingView Assistant. From there, you're going to have this page that you're going to see and this drop-down menu. There's two things in it that I use. Brute force. That's when I'm trying to improve something that's already good. I'll typically take like the stop loss and take profit, and I will have it adjust by ticks within a small range. So it's going to go through every single combination with those. So you can imagine if it goes through every combination, the more things you have on there, it just becomes ridiculous. You're going to be running your optimizer 24/7 for a year if you put all the stuff on there. So random improvement. This is the reason why I actually recommend the free TradingView Assistant instead of the other one that's offered for being paid for. Random improvement is going to go through and it's going to improve on when it finds something that's better, it won't touch that setting again. So then it'll go touch something else. So that's a better blanket approach to be like, okay, I want you to find just something general that's good, decent, for me to work on later. So I'll set that to random improvement, and then I will pick total P&L. You can do whatever, but I would just recommend total P&L. You're going to get a spreadsheet at the end of this where you can mess with stuff, put equations in. You can get max equity divided by total P&L, and I'll show you that when we get through this. So I'm going to click test strategy, and it's going to come up with a list of every single setting that I have in there, even the ones that you do not want in there. So for example, if I go to the bottom here, I don't want to test my dashboard size. That's going to be literally useless for me to test. So I'll go through and I'll unselect all the ones that I don't want in there. I don't know why that's not selected. That should be selected. So unit, take profit, stop loss. Like in Kairos stuff, you have an option between doing points and ticks. No point in having that. Just leave it on points or ticks, whatever you want to do. I would recommend points because bigger intervals. Enable date filter. Obviously, I don't want that stuff. I'll get rid of, like, sometimes I'll not do my filters and I'll do them separately. So in this one, like, I took off all the filters. So the VIX filter, the MA filter, volume filter, I took them all off. So it's not going to test anything in those parameters. Mainly because I like to actually flip through those manually. So that's where I kind of start. So I have everything in here, and then the values. So you're going to have 3 rows that matter. You're going to have the from row, to row, and then the step row. So from is where it's starting from. So if you're looking at a TP and stop loss, so this is for GC. So I have it set. The lowest value is 5. And that's the lowest value. And then the highest value is 15. That's just what, after talking to Kevin about it, that seems to be a more realistic range for uh, a more realistic stop in. So it's going to test between those two numbers on my long stop loss and my long take profit. And then because it's going to have so many combinations and I'm doing a blanket approach, I'm going to do a 3-step. If I was to get really granular and test the brute force drop down, I would do like, is it 10 ticks per point on gold?
Yeah.
10 ticks. So I'll do 0.1. So I'd do 0.1 and 0.1 step. And then I would have it test, all the combinations, and I would unselect everything else. So I'd get rid of all the other selections and I'll just do those, and I'll do it at the lowest possible interval. And because I want to know exactly what the best setting is within those parameters. So yeah, with a more blanket approach, 3 is good within this range. Obviously, if you're doing NQ and you're testing between like 25, 30, all the way up to like 150, you're going to want to probably do an interval of like 5, 6, maybe, just so it can get a range and it can actually fill out that range within the cycles that you're going to run. So you're going to set that, and then you're going to set, so you're going to have that. And then the other settings, this is where it really becomes strategy specific. You're going to have to know what stuff does, because not specifically what it does, how it affects the strategy. So I got to know, like, okay, what does it do when I add a BB filter or a Bollinger Band filter? What does it do when I put the setting on 7? Oh, it literally does nothing to the strategy. It basically nullifies the confluence altogether. So if I have it on 7, well, then I know I'm not going to test around 7. So I'm going to make sure it's in a range that actually is going to affect the movement of the back test. So, and you don't have to get really granular with that stuff. If you're just trying to find more general things, you can just take the defaults and be like, hey, let's just run this and let's just see what happens. But if you do want to get more targeted with your blanket approach, I would recommend knowing some of those things or asking somebody that does know what your ATR length should be, like, or what's a good range for an ATR length. Like typically lengths when it comes to like the confluences like CCI and CMO and RSI, like they're typically, the standard is 14. So it's the look back is 14. So testing between like 1 and 30, that's where I would be kind of at with that. So then once you get all this stuff figured out, so you have all the boxes checked that you want, you have all the ranges that you want, and you have the steps that it's going to take that's going to test it in. You're going to look at the amount of cycles that you want to run. So Brad loves running 1,000 cycles. I don't typically run 1,000 cycles, mainly because I don't want to run it multiple times. So I will do it maybe around 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock when I'm done with the day, I'm ready to move on, and I will set it to like 5,000, or just recently I tried a 10,000 cycle one. That's going to take a long time. 10,000 cycles, it might not be done by midday tomorrow. So it might not even be done by the next night, depending on the speed of how fast your parameters are changing within Chrome. So yeah, I like 5,000. That tends to be pretty good, and you can always stop it whenever you want. So it is what it is. So I'm going to run just a 1 cycle right now, and I'm going to press save and run. What that does is it saves everything that you've done on so far. So all the things you selected, it's going to save it. So the next time you come in here, all the same things are selected. So save and run, and it pops up with this menu. It tells you how many combinations there are. And then it will tell you that 1 cycle is way too small to be able to test all those combinations. And then let's get a test here. So it will do a setting. Mine's really slow right now. It's normally a lot faster than this. All right, page unresponsive. Yeah, this is Google Chrome hates me. It's literally okay. There it goes. All right. So best P&L was from my previous test I already did. So it's going to go in, change the setting, and then so that's what it did. Whatever it tested, it made it that bad. So 1 of 1. Wait for this to finish. Wow, it's taking 20 seconds right now to do that. That's really slow. Normally a good speed is like 5. But
yeah, I guess I'm important too. I ran one of these the other day, and you have to have it on the screen, and your screensaver can't pop up, or else it won't move. It has to be just on the main screen.
oh, mine still works when my screensaver pops up.
Oh, really? Yeah. So my screensaver popped up. I set it before bed, I don't know, the other day, and I came back in the morning and it was still on the same one. I basically saw it.
Huh.
Well, it moved a couple, but
Yeah.
anyway, it didn't move overnight. Well, my screensaver.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I don't know if I have something in my settings. I don't think my computer goes to sleep even when the screensaver goes on though. So if you have your computer, if it goes to sleep and has the screensaver, then it might not work. But okay, so I got my results. I'm going to press save. It's going to go up to my downloads menu, and I also have it saving in a folder. So I'm going to click on that. So now it's going to pop up with this. All right, so numbers that matter to me. I like, oh man, what just happened? Oh no. I don't know how it just did that. All right, I'm going to go to this other one I have right here. Just pretend that this is the same one. All right, so it's going to have like all of the backtest data on the first part of this. And then once you get to towards the end, you're going to have all the inputs. So you can go in manually and look, okay, I need to set win rate or no, Williams percent. I forget what it's called. I always see win rate anytime I see that. So MFI, okay, I'm going to set that however it says to set it. If I want to set my settings to something different than what the best was on the run. So I already did it here, but what you're going to do is you're going to click in the little box, the total P&L percentage, and you're going to press equal. And then I'm going to go, so you have row C2 is going to be the max equity drawdown. So I'm going to do C2, and then I'm going to press divided by A2, which is the total P&L. So A2. And then I'm going to press enter, or you can click the little green checkbox. So now it just gave me 0.054. So typically when I'm running these, I want to see less than 0.05. So I'm going to scroll that down all the way to the bottom of this. This was a long test, I guess. Okay, so now it just did it to all of the values throughout the whole test. And now I can scroll through and look at, okay, I already have this sorted. So you're going to want to go and arrange it once you have this done. You can press organize, sort, total P&L, and then arrange in descending fashion. So now it's starting at the highest value it found, and I can look down here to see which one has the lowest drawdown with the highest P&L. So that's the process. That's how I do the spreadsheet and get the information from the optimizer. So I'm just going to delete that, delete this. Okay. So I hope, was that pretty clear, Kevin?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. It'll take some getting used to. I think it's one of those tools too. I mean, you just did a great job. But it's one of those things you almost have to use too and get a feel for. But yeah, I thought that was a great tutorial.
Yeah. And this is what I got from a blanket approach. This one I just did recently and on GC, just looking to find something that I could work with. So I've yet to like refine this and make this any better. So this is just initial. It started at 0 and this is what the settings gave me. So not too bad. Not too
Yeah.
bad for just a initial thing. But yeah, it is 6 o'clock. Was there anything else you would, any last words or anything else that you want to go over?
No, just yeah, thanks everybody for the support. And yeah, if you guys ever need anything, just feel free to reach out. But yeah, if, well, I guess we'll hopefully see you guys in the Discord soon.
Yeah. Have a good weekend, guys. And I was talking to some of the Clear Edge guys about possibly doing a kickoff meeting. So maybe on Sunday night or Monday night. So we'll have some more information about that. Hoping to maybe do that this week. So
yeah, and if you guys ever want to come on the show and ask questions like live, or I know we'd mentioned this before, but yeah, feel free to reach out, and I'm sure David could get you the link and talk, anything you guys want to talk trading. So yeah, that's always an open invitation to that too.
Yeah, for sure. All right, guys. I will talk to you later.
All right, we'll see you guys.